Hi, good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So, good evening and welcome to another brand new episode of the learning series by Juno School of Business. I'm sure by now you all know that this is a platform wherein we discuss that how you can aid your corporate journey and make you guys a better professional. So that's the ultimate objective. And having said that, we all know that sales is one of the most rewarding careers one can undertake. And at Juno School, this is our endeavor that we want to shape better sales professionals for tomorrow. In fact, we all know that salespeople are the ones who drive business for every organization. In fact, go about generating those revenues and numbers, right? And it's a human desire that we all want to grow in life, be it our personal spaces or professional spaces. And that could be during an interview or maybe a group discussion or a campus interview or even ideas that we're selling to our near and dear ones. So sales is something which is a life skill. That's what we believe at Juno. Now, the irony is that since this is a skill widely used, however, not taught in any school or college in a structured format, right? So the better we sell, the more we grow in life. Now, we thought that we would bridge this gap, and that's the ultimate objective of the genesis of our organization. We at Juno School, it's an endeavor that we want to plug all these gaps and how you can, shape your selling skills through an 8-week customized training program, wherein we have live interactive sessions with industry experts. We give you the practical flavor of building your selling skills. And of course, we couple it with placement support, giving you the best of the opportunities available so that you can catapult your sales careers. Now, these webinars that we do every Saturday, so these are our master classes, and we would want that if you want to gain those insights, real life experiences from people who've been there, done it, seen it all across, please do block your calendars for every Saturday between 6 to 7. And that's the time we do these master classes. You can also connect with us at junoschool.org or schedule a chat with us at hello@junoschool.org. Now, having said that, let me welcome our expert for the day, Mudit. Mudit is an entrepreneur and has worked with organizations like HUL, which we know as Hindustan Unilever, Accenture, and Sharda University. Now, in today's session, he's going to share his valuable insights that how do you go about building a direct-to-consumer brand, typically which we call the D2C in our sales universe, right? Thank you so much, Mudit, for squeezing out time for us and being a part of the Juno community. On this note, I request him to take over and share his insights with all of us. Over to you, Mudit.
Thanks, Madhvi, for those kind words, and welcome everyone. And thanks for taking out time on a lovely rainy Saturday evening here in Delhi. And so a bit about myself, as Himadri has already told. So I started this entrepreneurial journey about 5-7 years ago and launched a brand, Life and Pursuits. As the name would tell, is a bit of a philosophical name, which kind of tells the ethos of the brand. So we combine certified organic Ayurveda with the Western organic standards. And the idea, the vision, the dream is to help contribute towards health and happiness and harmony in the world. So, for example, so we do plantation drives every month linked with how much we sell. We remove plastic from the planet, which is closely linked with the amount of selling that we do. So in a way, we are trying to become a force for the good, and that is how the name of the movement, Life and Pursuits, is. So I launched this company along with my team in 2016, and deliberately we focused on international markets because these certified organic certifications are pretty much well known in international markets. For example, the USDA, EcoCert, NATRU, etc. But the Indian market is still growing, developing, and will take a few more years. The unit economics of international markets is much better. So we focused more on US, UK, Australia, UAE markets, and have grown really well through Amazon Global in the past few years. India is around 5% of our business. In fact, recently we have incorporated a wholly owned subsidiary in the USA. And we are now initiating online marketing and selling through our own website in the USA. So all those legal formalities have been completed in the past few months, and we are on to the next level of our growth. Now, as you can see, the idea of today's session here, I think the best value that I will be able to add is through sharing my journey and my perspectives, and kind of throwing open some of the dilemmas, some of the challenges, some of the situations that any entrepreneur, be it founder, be it co-founder, or their teams, specifically the sales teams, will face in the initial years. Through my experience, I would have gotten my answers to some of these situations, but I don't claim that those answers will be the right answers. In these situations, many companies, all the companies, they actually adopt different ways, different strategies, and that is how they go about it. So after I present some of these slides, I have put together a basic set of a few slides, and then we can have an interactive conversation, Q&A, wherein feel free to ask questions, and I will be happy to share more details. So I think it is pertinent to kind of summarize what has gone well in the past 5-7 years. So some of the important things is that we went after a big global opportunity, and that is one big message from my side to all the budding entrepreneurs or salespeople, that if your product is something that can do well in a globalized world, then please don't consider the domestic market or the Indian market as the overall market opportunity. In fact, go after the global opportunity, which is actually much more and can increase the revenue and valuation of your company much faster and in a much better way. So for example, we specifically went for the highest global organic certifications in the beauty market, and we took the most stringent USDA certificate, EcoCert, which is the Europe certificate, and NATRU, which is again the Europe certificate. So we took all the highest certifications, the US and Europe certifications, right at the beginning. In fact, if you go back to the previous slide and you see that the company was founded in 2016, but we launched products only in 2018. So from a sales point of view, there could be a question that why is there so much time and why is there some delay in launching the products? But that is how I went about my journey, because, for example, we got about 250 top international bestsellers from USA and Germany. I personally went there and got these products. We studied those, benchmarked those. We spent a disproportionate amount of time and energy in the initial stages to first set the product right and come up with products that we were confident that they would do great in the international markets. Because we know that this opportunity is very big. If the products are good, then in the long term, they will definitely do great in international markets. So we spent a couple of years initially to get the products right. In fact, even as a startup, so the second point, which says that it is quite important to come up with a truly global DNA of the company in this day and age. Because if you are just thinking about the local opportunity, then that could be quite small to begin with. So, for example, even as a young startup, we went to the biggest organic trade fair that happens in Germany every year. And we were the first Indian Ayurveda brand to do that and showcase our products. And we got terrific response. So The average Amazon USA ratings are 4.3 plus for all our products. So we are slow in product launches, but when we launch products, we are pretty sure that they will do good in the field. The feedback will be great. The repeat orders will come by pretty easily, and that is how we want to grow organically over time. That is one approach. The other approach that many companies take is to be very fast with product launches, do their trial and errors, and improve products on the go. And that is another way, which many startups take. But this being because we were catering to the stringent US and UK markets, and there are many laws about skin sensitivity, how the product could have an adverse effect on skin and hair, because our product range is like, as you would have understood by now, they're hair oils, face oils, serums, creams, cleansing oils, face masks, those kind of products. So imperative for us that the product is sorted, and that is one of the strengths that we have. Now, in terms of where we stand right now, I talked about the successes. Let me also talk about some of the improvement areas where we want to improve. We are too much dependent on Amazon right now because we have grown on the back of Amazon. Amazon gives a great opportunity to small sellers like us to reach out to international markets. And if the product is good and you crack the Amazon code, which is like understanding the algorithms and promoting the product right, then eventually what happened that Amazon support teams, they started to work with us, and they helped us grow on Amazon.com and Amazon.uk. But we now understand that we are too much dependent on Amazon and we want to grow beyond Amazon. That is why we are launching our own website. In fact, it has been launched last week, and we are now coming up with more premium products. Our average order value right now is about $11, $12, $15 in the USA. We want to take it to around $20, $25. In fact, even more than that, the average order value. So that is why we are coming up with more products that are at the intersection of large categories. For example, our best product right now is Brigraj hair oil and Amla hair oils. And in international markets, hair oil segment market is growing, but there are other categories which are already much bigger. For example, face serums, face oils, opportunities like that. And they are much more premium products. So we are now coming up with those products that operate at the intersection of volume and value. And the idea is to develop 2 to 3 more products. So we are kind of too much dependent on just about 2 to 3 products. And we want to change that because we have a portfolio of products. All our products are great, but we have not been able to spend marketing funds on some of the new products. So the idea is to have 1 or 2 star products that can then pull 1 or 2 newer products. And that is how we can establish 3 to 5 star products in the market in the long run. I'm sure many of you would know that even for almost all the companies, 80% of revenues typically come from about 20% of the products or services. That is typically known as 80-20 rule. And as in life, it applies beautifully to all the industries, all the companies. And you can pretty much see how it applies to your current company also. So, for example, even for a company like Unilever or a Patanjali, much of their revenues, they come typically from 3 to 5 products, even if they have 300 or 500 SKUs on the shelves. So even as a startup, we have been aware that being too much dependent on one sales channel like Amazon or 1 or 2 products could be risky. And it is much better to have a more diversified portfolio as well as a sales channel strategy. So those are the things that we are working on right now. Now, here in this slide, I will talk about some of the situations, some of the big questions that any founder or any entrepreneur, any business owner would face. So, for example, the first one would be whether to go bootstrapped or whether to go for funding. And this is typically a question that plays out on everyone's minds in the initial years: how much to dilute, when to dilute, at what valuation to dilute. And from my experience, I have learned that if you have to grow fast and you have to grow through channels like Facebook ads, Google ads, then a lot of capital is required. So I remained bootstrapped in the initial years and then went for a small round last year. But my learning is that it is better to dilute a bit, at least in the initial stages, get some comfortable capital so that one can grow at a good pace and kind of prove the products, etc. The other question that we have always faced is niche versus mainstream. For example, do we come up with a very pricey specialized formulation for skin or hair, or do we just come up with a product like coconut oil or a castor oil or a sesame oil, which is a commodity? So again, I have seen many companies getting very confused about such decisions, and they go for both the approaches. And it is very important that the founder or the sales teams, they are clear as to what is the strategy of the company. A lot of marketing and advertisement will be required to convert a specialized formulation or a niche segment to communicate it. But if the product is good, then there is a good differentiation, and that can be a good opportunity for any brand. To sell a commodity or a mainstream product would require to because there will be a lot of competition, and really deep pockets will be required to push up commodity product. So in our case, we have realized and we have kind of decided that we will have high-end specialized formulations and establish 3 to 5 star products where we can charge a premium, and we will have a niche audience who is willing to pay the price that we want. The other question that keeps coming is about top line versus bottom line. So as a company head or as a division head and sales head, do you chase the revenue? Do you chase the sales, or do you chase profitability? And if you are just chasing revenue, then at what cost are you chasing the revenue? Is it making profit for the company, or is it resulting in a loss? So those are some big questions. We have seen how some mega funded companies, they have chased revenue, and later on their valuations have skyrocketed. But at the same time, they face a perennial challenge about the sustainability of the entire business. So that is one key struggle that all the founders and co-founders face, that do you pursue the top line, do you pursue the bottom line, and how do you strike a balance between the two? Another challenge that we have faced, or situation that we have commonly kind of come across, is whether to have just 1 or 2 products. For example, I can give example of Kesh King. So Kesh King was a single product company, or Indulekha, it was a single product company. They did terrifically well, and they were able to take the revenues to astronomical levels. And later on, they were acquired by big FMCG giants. That is one approach. The other one is developing a brand portfolio, coming up with 20, 30, 40, 50 products, developing 10 of coming up with a face range, a baby range, a hair range, that kind of an approach. So what approach do you take, and is it only a function of capital? For example, there is one approach whereby you commit a large amount of advertising spend, marketing spend on just one product, grow it to, let us say, 100 crore, 200 crore, 500 crore level, or you come up with a brand and then develop many products supported by that brand. This is again a key question that keeps coming up in the drawing board in front of founders and co-founders. In our approach, we took our in our case, we took our products to, let us say, 15 or 20, but eventually we have decided to focus only on the big 3 to 5 products, grow them well, so that they are able to support the next wave of products. We have seen in many cases whereby a large portfolio does not really bring any outcomes, good outcomes for the company. In fact, becomes a big drain on the cost front. So these are some of the questions or situations that we faced in the past 5-7 years, and I thought it would be interesting to share my perspective on all these aspects. Any questions so far? Or should we take questions at the end? How
At
do
the
you?
end, sir.
Okay, sure. Now, moving specifically to some aspects of sales, because I understand the focus of your program is very much on sales and developing strong sales professionals. So in our experience, I have kind of jotted down a few points, which I think are key to becoming a strong sales professional. All the salespeople should really have very good understanding, deep understanding of the product that they want to sell, techno-functional knowledge. So it really does not help if the understanding is shallow, if the understanding is superficial, but the sales professional should really have strong techno-functional knowledge of the product and their customers. But before that, it is really imperative that you actually understand, why does the business exist? Why does the company exist? And why is it doing what it is doing? So the value system, the origin, the genesis, what Simon Sinek calls the golden circle, that why are you doing what you are doing? If you are not clear on that, then you will not be able to convert prospects into sales. And why does a customer, or why would a customer be inspired to get associated with the brand? Because in the end, the brand, it is not just a product. A brand is much more than a product or a service or the offering. It is a promise. It is an emotional connect with the customer, and it is the trust. It is the warmth. It is so many intangible things. And that is why the purpose of the brand takes the center seat, and that is something that not many people really focus on, but I cannot emphasize it enough, that how important it is to really understand for any brand, for any company, that why does it exist, why it does what it does, and why would a customer get associated with it. Then there's all important sales question, that what sets it apart from any of its competitors? How does it do something better? And what is the value proposition? Then the KYC, know your customer. Who is buying your product, and why are they buying what they are buying? Or taking it to the other end, why are they not buying? Why your supposed customer set is not buying your product? So psychographic analysis of the customer sets and deep understanding of these things will set you apart as a sales professional. Then the all important walk the talk thing for the brand or the company, that does it really do, or the product, that does it really do what it intends to say? You might be making a strong case with your prospect, but are you convinced that what you are saying, what the product promises, it really does that, and with good effect? If it is not doing it, then it is a matter of time. The repeat will not come, and it is a matter of time that the sales will go off. So it is really important to have these prerequisites in place for a company, for a department, and for a professional before you actually go out to the field or into the market. These things are the crux or the core of why a company or a department or a sales professional will either succeed or fail. And then I've seen too often that many sales professionals or marketing professionals, they don't have a grip on the financial concepts or the financial aspects. For example, costing. What you are trying to sell for 500 rupees, how much has it cost the company? Do you really know? Has the company told you? Or even as the founder or co-founder, I have seen that many a times people don't have a grip on costing and pricing. I will share a very interesting anecdote. In fact, in 2014, I was doing my executive course at Harvard Business School. And there was one professor, Bharat Anand, who is a strategy professor at Harvard. And he had come up with an e-learning course specifically aimed at China and other international markets. And he wasn't very sure about the pricing of the course. In fact, he shared this in his class that I was quite nervous at the beginning of before the launch of the course, and I was wondering what would be the right price for the course. And in fact, he wanted to price it at about $1,000. Then, as chance would have it, he got in touch with someone in China, and they ended up doing a partnership with them for their e-learning courses. And this agency, this partner, they priced the course at $5,000 in China. So pricing is always quite tricky. Costing, not many people have grip on it. What is the fixed cost? What is the variable cost? At what price can I sell to the customer? At what discount should I sell to the customer? What would be my margins? These are simple financial concepts that most of the marketing and sales professionals don't have a grip on, or they are not even shared, or even the top management of the company does not have these things on the back, kind of in their control. So pretty much the pricing is a guesswork. And then or the maximum they do is to see the competitors' pricing get dictated by that alone, without thinking what could be their value proposition, what is the price they could charge, is there a premium they could charge, or if they have to give a discount, then to what extent is the discount leading to a loss, or are they able to sell at a profit, and what are the margins? So unit economics, basically I'm talking about unit economics, and all the sales professionals, I would make a strong case that they should have a really strong grip on these financial concepts, whichever field they operate in. Specifically talking about my area, that now that we are beginning with Facebook, Google, TikTok kind of platforms internationally, I think as globalization is increasing, as digital is increasing, as social is increasing, sales is becoming more digital, more social, more global. So all the sales professionals should really get very, very conversant in digital, social kind of concepts, and how to design. So what kind of online campaigns, what kind of targeting through these online campaigns, online channels, what will be the customer acquisition cost, what is the return on advertising spend, average order value, lifetime value. Now, these are not just jargons, but basically they determine the success or the future of the company. So if you are in a related field, for example, we are in FMCG, we are in D2C, now these numbers, they determine the success or the failure of the company, the sustainability of the business. So sales, I would say, is not in isolation. Sales is something that has to be tightly integrated with understanding of finance, with understanding at least some understanding of digital, social, and globalization. That is how I see all of these mega trends coming together. And this is my last slide. So the key takeaway which I carried from the executive course at Harvard Business School, they always have a strong emphasis on think big, think global, and think long term. So apart from techno-functional expertise and skills that you will develop throughout your life, this is really important to have a perspective of thinking big, thinking global, and thinking long term. And then many of the things, they fall into place. Yep. That's it for my small presentation. And now I think we can throw open for a more informal conversation and question and answers, and any of these points which I have raised. Over to you, Himadri.
Okay, guys, you have any questions for Mudit? Please feel free to ask, because I would want you to leverage this platform so that whatever questions you have in mind, anything that you want to ask, please feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Vijay this way. Sir, while you segmented the customer, means upper level, lower level, and middle level. Okay. While segmenting the customer, the major portion of your revenue comes from which sector? The upper, the lower, or the middle one? Can you explain on that?
So are you asking about my organization, my company?
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
Yeah. So as I shared, much of our business is coming from Amazon. Now, for good or bad, Amazon does not share a lot of customer data and insights with us. They do share some of that data. For example, we know that in the USA, 70% of our customers are women. We know that most of our selling is happening in 3 or 4 states of the USA. And for example, California, New York, and Florida are 3 big states for us. But really, we don't have that kind of analysis which you are saying. And in today's world, having customer data is really a financial asset. So that is why it is very important to have omni-channel kind of a strategy. And if you are selling through your own website, then you can have a wonderful access to all such data. Who is buying, how often, from where are my customers coming, how can I remarket, how can I cross-sell, how can I upsell. Those strategies and things, they come alive when you have access to your own data. And that is the next step in our journey, because now we are trying to grow beyond Amazon, and we have already started Google, Facebook ads in the USA. And that is the importance of having your own customer data, then that you can then come up with strategies and specific offers for specific segments of your customer set or target set.
Okay, Mudit, so we have a question on the chat box. So
Okay.
you may want to take this up for us.
Let me open it. As you mentioned that now more on digital online, also millions are adding to internet. In the future, is sales will exist in B2C? My understanding, all sales jobs will be done by bots, automation. Please share your thoughts. Yeah, so automation is another big theme, mega theme. And in fact, we increasingly see that, for example, on Amazon, there is a tool like Helium 10. So Helium 10 automatically runs our campaigns and gives suggestions and recommendations. But then there are experts, there are people who kind of manage that, who handle that. It is not specific to our industry. It is not specific to FMCG or any one industry, but there is a big shift towards automation. And yes, a large part of all industries will get automated. The kind of repetitive jobs will get automated, but there will always be scope for human involvement. So I always maintain that no matter how much automation comes, it's not that creative kind of or analytical kind of jobs will be done by automation. For that is why I talked about analysis, data and analytics. So as more and more automation comes, and as you have access to millions of data sets, in fact, analytics jobs will kind of get integrated with sales and marketing and all other job functions. So that is the trend that we are seeing. It will happen in pharma, it will happen in all the industries, not just beauty or wellness or FMCG. So I think bots and automation will take away that part of the job which are kind of programmable and repetitive, but anything where analytics is required. For example, you have data, but what insights, what decision you make out of that data is totally up to the management of the company, and that will remain that way only. So automation will keep coming, but there will be a layer of business intelligence and decision making, and that is where everyone will have to get skilled and equipped.
Hey, hi, I so how did you come up with this idea? Like, with your prior experience, or like, what is the problem you are solving with this product? If I ask.
Right. So we have, as I told, that we combined so we are trying to give a natural substitute, a natural lifestyle to people who are looking for a natural lifestyle, but they don't want chemicals, pesticides in their skin or hair applications, and they want high performance. So for example, all the high performance products typically that they are available are full of dubious ingredients. Today, there might be a case that they are safe, but 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, research comes and all of a sudden they say that, okay, this particular set of ingredients is unsafe. For example, mineral oils, parabens. So we kind of try to provide a natural lifestyle, but combine it with organic standards, certifications. So people in the West, they are not, when we talked with people in Germany, they were not very comfortable with Make in India. Not because they don't like India, they actually like India a lot, but they have heard so much about substandard manufacturing or things like that. How do you give them confidence? So we have combined the traditional Indian knowledge, wisdom, with their organic standards, something that they understand and they feel confident about, comfortable about, thus giving them a choice of using an Indian product which they can feel equally confident about as a European product or an American product. So that is how we have kind of worked on the intersection of Indian Ayurveda, Western organic standards, and modern science. So on the one hand, we have kind of added or combined Eastern and Western, and on the other hand, we have combined ancient with modern, and that is the problem and the solution that we are catering to. And you also asked how I came about. So I have a corporate background. I did my MBA from IIM Indore, and then I was working with typical companies like Accenture, Unilever, Monitor Consulting. And I always had this kind of deep desire to start something on my own, whereby I can combine kind of something socially meaningful at the same time should be profitable as a business. So through this venture, I have tried to address that. And I have no background. So many a times people think that only an area in which you have deep expertise of 10 to 20 years or 5, 7, 10 years can you succeed. Because management is for example, sales. Now sales is a skill which can, if you are a good salesman, you can learn particular vertical, a particular industry, understand it, and apply your sales knowledge to that industry. In the same way, management is there. So I have worked in 5-7 different industries, but not specifically beauty. Even within Unilever, I was working with the supply chain division. I was not in sales or marketing department. But yes, in today's day and age, you can learn whatever you want. There are avenues available, and the more important thing is to chase your passion and develop a team, work with them, have a clearly defined target, objective, chase it with passion, and then you can achieve it.
So I have one more question. Like, how did you find your first group of customers or maybe first customer for this product? Or it's naturally you launched in that market or somehow it went? Or like it's B2B or like you have done directly B2C?
No. So we are doing B2C only. So Amazon, and we are only doing B2C. And we kind of, when we started, we wanted to do something global, something which has to do with India. So we kind of, when we finalized on Ayurveda and beauty and wellness and the international organic standards, so we finalized about 250 products of 5-10 big brands from Europe and US in natural and organic space. And we benchmarked those. We kind of saw their journey, saw their sales, analyzed those, because I come with business intelligence, business research kind of a background. That is so that really helped me, because we used to do so many projects doing industry analysis, company analysis, competitor analysis. So that has been my background and forte in one of the companies when I was working with Mudit Consulting and research. So that is how we understood that, okay, in this particular country on Amazon.com or Amazon.uk, these are the 3 to 5 competitors that we can go after. This is the product category that can beautifully combine Indian Ayurveda. For example, color cosmetics does not work for us, but hair oils, body oils, these work beautifully for us. So you have to understand what you can do and what you cannot, and you have to choose your battles.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Vinay, and thanks Mudit for the very intelligent session and sharing your knowledge. So wish you could go beyond boundaries in the market. So
Sorry, I lost you.
Online or social media selling. So do you think, like, is there any way that we can do the marketing? That is number one. And how to identify the international market, like which market is going to work good for us? This is number two. And number three, do we have any studies for market research or market studies?
So sorry, I missed your initial part. I got your questions towards the end, but I missed the initial part.
Due to some company constraints, we cannot go online. I mean, social selling or social media marketing.
Okay.
So in such cases, how to identify the international markets and how to target the particular markets? So, and is there any studies which can say that these markets are good and you can go to this particular UAE market or US market or global markets? How to identify that?
So I think the best way, I don't know your industry or product, but at a high level, I can tell that if you, so are you in B2B or B2C?
We are into both B2B and B2C.
Okay. So if you don't have online presence, then I think there could be some proxy ways to determine the market opportunity of any country. and there could be some industry reports that many publishers provide, and I think those could be some proxies to understand the opportunity. And then some industry tie-ups. I think a good way to go about it is to attend some trade fairs and trade shows in those countries to begin with, and that is where you can actually meet the real people. Especially if you are not online, then it is really important to attend trade shows in those countries to meet some real people and get those perspectives that you are talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. I can see a question on chat. I started my classes about sound engineer. I teach about engineering, but the number of students is only 2. I want to start online digital platform and want to sell. Can I enhance more students? Yeah, what comes to my mind is that you have to have your presence on some relevant portals. So for example, if you are looking for students who want to study sound engineering, I'm sure there would be, where are those students going to look for what they are looking for? So if you can be present on those platforms through content. So content is one thing which could be slow but can give really good outcomes. Is making your presence, your profile, and creating some content and putting on the relevant portals. So that can give you good visibility. That is something what is coming to my mind looking at your question.
Sir, I have one more question. Sir, basically, as you going out of the country, sir, what are the means basically, are you able to planning to launch those products in India first of all, and what are the benchmark for the rival company? Would you suggest?
Yeah, so yeah, that's an important question. Many a times what happens, the preference, the market is totally different. For example, the price point could be different. What could be a premium product in India may not be a premium product in the USA, and vice versa. So we launched the same product because from a social point of view, it was our commitment that we will give the same product in India, what we are giving to the USA market. But what we saw, and in fact, we kept our prices artificially low in India. But since our unit economics perform better internationally, so we, as any company would do, we focused on international markets. Now, in terms of preferences, for example, the fragrance or other aspects, the preferences of customers actually vary. And the same product might not do very well in India, or the other way around. So in the end, it is important to focus on one big opportunity and follow that. It could be India, it could be US, it could be UAE. It is my key message is not that you have to sell in USA. It's not the key message. My key message is that it is a globalized village. Don't restrict yourself to India. You might come to the conclusion that India and Bangladesh is the best opportunity, or Sri Lanka is the best opportunity. I'm not saying that everyone has to go to Europe or USA, because in many industries, the legal requirements, the regulatory environment is very tight, extremely stringent. It may take years and years. So, but what I am saying is that for any product, for any offering, just try to evaluate the global opportunity, and there might be a big opportunity waiting for you beyond India.
Sir, one more question I have to ask. Sir, basically, if you going for the means population-based country, or or basically you are going for the product or oriented company like that, means basically you have more focus on the population rather than the product itself. Can you clear more points on that?
Could you please repeat? I did not get your question.
So basically in India or Bangladesh, something like that, the means population is quite more over there. Means China, if they consider over there, means selling the product over the crowded places, it's going to boost the business itself. But rather you choose the foreign country over there to select a particular customer over there, means basically the growth or the decline, both should be the same way or other ways.
So it all depends on the product and the fitment. So in our case, since we have to take organic certification and the kind of actives we are putting into the product, the cost is pretty high. Now, if the cost is high, then definitely the price has to be high. So can I get customers in India in my particular segment? The opportunity that I was able to get for the kind of products that I had in international markets was bigger. That is why I decided to go in that direction. Now, as you rightly said, there is a much bigger population in countries like India and China. And for a product which is a mass market product, Indian market will do much better. For example, if you have your unit economics in place and your product is in the price range of 100 or 200 rupees, for which you have a huge market in India, then definitely there is no question about it. But if your product starts getting into let us say 1,000 or 2,000 rupee price band, where there are competitors, not exact competitors, but they are not exact competitors, by the way, but the market is not willing to provide that much premium at this point. It will mature in the next few years, but right now it is not willing to provide that much premium. Then that is the kind of decision the company or the sales division has to take.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have one more question, sir. So when you are launching this product in globally, so what is the factor you focus to beat other products? Is it the new for first time or a product's already there? You are launching new brand. So what differentiation factor you created there?
Yeah, so in FMCG, typically there are two types of industries these days. For example, in tech, there is a saying that the winner takes it all. For example, if there is one WhatsApp, then it is known as network effect. As WhatsApp grows, you will ask your friend to join on WhatsApp, and that is how the other platform will go out of business. Everyone will eventually come on WhatsApp. In the same way, there is only one Facebook, there is only one Instagram. So that is the concentration that happens in tech. In FMCG, that is not the case. In FMCG, 5 to 7 or even more players can remain in the market. In fact, it is a very fragmented market, and people like to experiment. People like to experiment and use or try new products, new brands, and people want to associate themselves with the value system of new brands, new age brands. For example, purpose-driven brands and sustainable brands. So the kind of industry that I am in, it may not grow to a multi-billion-dollar empire, but then it definitely allows for multiple players to remain and thrive and to grow. So that is the nature of FMCG. And in fact, that was one of the criteria on which I kind of decided. That was one personal decision for me, because that is it all depends on the personality and the vision of the founder. So for example, if you are launching a tech product, network effects will be in play. So either there's a chance that it can grow very big, but there is a much bigger chance that it will totally go out of business and there will be no adoption at all. Apps, for example, the examples that I gave. On the other hand, in my industry, there is space for everyone. So it depends. And when we launch products, there are big categories. For example, shampoo, conditioner. So we will offer some differentiation there, come up with some combination of Ayurveda and organic, natural, make it more effective. We will try to come up with those aspects. But in the end, a shampoo is a shampoo. But then people try new brands, people try new launches, then if they like the product, they go for repeat. That is how it happens.
Great, a new thing. Thank you so much.
I have a question here. If we start any food product startup, so how the customer will approach to us in our offline service and online platform? See, increasingly, now I am not saying it is a rule, but increasingly brands or some awareness is now made online because people like to go online and try to find out more about the product before they make a purchase, especially in D2C. They typically see the reviews by going to any Amazon or other portals. So it is what my experience says it is that one should try to create some personality, some presence online because directly scaling offline requires much more capital. But totally depends on the kind of product and unit economics and how the traditional sales channels have been working in this sector. If it is a packet of chips, then I totally understand a lot of offline activities are required rather than selling it online. But yes, the brand presence should be there online. Any other question?
So brand value is much more important than a face value.
Brand value is much more important than
Face value. Face value means the history of the company and
yes,
what they are.
Yes. So So brand is something which is much bigger than today's business or today's revenue. For example, much of the worth on Coca-Cola's balance sheet is coming from the brand value. It is an iconic example that everyone knows. That is why they say that it is important to invest in the brand. Now, investing in a brand will not give you direct or measurable or exact kind of that you can attribute sales result in day one, but slowly and steadily that will keep on increasing the base at which you will be able to play a much bigger game. Even on Amazon platform, there are two kinds of ads. One are those kinds of ads that give you direct sales conversion. The other are, for example, display ads. They kind of display a banner on which you can showcase 2-3 products and create some brand awareness. They will not have direct conversion of sales immediately. But if you keep investing in those kinds of ads, then slowly the brand awareness increases and organic traffic increases.
Hello, sir. I have one question.
Sure.
It is regarding a daily used grocery product. So basically, India is called a country of villages, and urban population is brand conscious. But when we look on the villages, they are more focused on quality of the product and price. I feel they are not more focused on branding. So what's your view on that?
So depends on the product. For example, a dal is a dal. Now, for a product like dal or chawal, one would really have to cultivate the channel. But yes, branding is something which is increasing everywhere. And if you are talking about traditional sales channels, then to grow it, I think it is pertinent to work with the trade channel and focus on a pilot in a small geography. So I think you are trying to launch some product in some geography and you want to understand if how you should go about it, if I'm right. So if you could do a number of pilots, small pilots in different geographies,
Okay.
you will have very good data. And some of these questions, because what happens for a different industry or a different product will definitely might not happen for you. So it is much better to do low cost pilot projects in 2-3 locations quite close by or different locations and see live data. So that is very important. Because there is nothing like live data coming in and telling its story. And that is how I think. So we may have our theoretical views based on books or others' experience, but specifically to your product and your market, if you do some pilot and see what kind of outcomes it is giving, then you will be able to scale it up.
Okay, sir. Thanks so much.
Guys, any other questions you have? Please feel free to ask. We've had quite a few interesting questions that did pop up. Anybody has any questions for Mudit?
So I have a personal question. I just wanted to know. Can I ask?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nikhil,
sure.
please go ahead. Go ahead, please.
So I'm a MBA marketing student. So I wanted to know in which area I need to focus more in the current situation.
So what do you mean by current situation? For a job specifically, you mean to say?
Yes, sir.
So there are two things about it, Nikhil. One is you should be good in your specialization. If you say you're doing MBA marketing, then you really should be quite strong in your subject. Number one. Number two, some practical know-how through projects or pilots or field visits. Number three, to eventually become successful in any field, I always say that one should be a generalist to an extent. For example, I see almost all professionals, they are quite weak in finance, basic finance. I'm not saying they need to do complete analysis of the financial statements, but even for marketing and sales, a lot of number crunching or financial planning of campaigns and budgeting is required. Typically, people are weak there. And when interviews happen and you get to the next level, students falter there. So I would say that not just, so when you say marketing MBA, please focus on the quantitative aspects of marketing. That would be my suggestion. Let it not be just plain theoretical book knowledge of marketing. A bit of quantitative analysis linked with marketing will help you a lot.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, guys, any other questions from anybody? I guess, Mudit, none, you've addressed all the questions that most of the people had. And thank you so much, Mudit. It was really insightful for us to understand a lot of things from a entrepreneur perspective, from a brand perspective, and of course, how do you match up those in the current format of selling? Anybody has a question? Is it? No. So really thankful to you, Mudit, for squeezing out time and that too over the weekend. And thank you for all our learners and people who joined the masterclass. irrespective of the fact that it's a Saturday evening. And I hope we connect soon during the next masterclass. Thank you, everybody, and wishing you a great weekend ahead. Thanks.
Thanks,
Take care.
everyone. It was nice to spend time with all of you.
Thank you so much, Mudit.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. See you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.